Greetings, my beloved warriors. Welcome to my digital empire. This is Key, and today I want to talk about something that emotionally triggered me, as in make me really sad. And it is like the truth, actually, the reality. It's part of our life, and if you have been through this, I'm sure you would know what I'm talking about. It's a kind of war, actually. Like it's an agenda that beta women have against alpha women. And I wouldn't call it competition. I didn't say competition. I said agenda because an alpha women wouldn't wouldn't compete with anyone. That's what makes us an alpha. You know what I mean? That's what makes you. It's uniquely to you. It's in our unique nature to just know generally there is no one to compete to, and the real strength comes from like the confidence you have in what you want, right? The real strength. Most of an alpha women that I know that I really get inspired by, they just give you that calm confidence of knowing that sense of direction, right? Like knowing what they want and having a goal. And still they might struggle in life, they might go from one point to another, they might be risk takers. We take a lot of risks, but in the meantime, they're it's natural to them to stand out. It's natural to them to just go after what they want. It's not like they're competing, they're seeking attention. We are the ones that that's called names, actually. Like they might say, people might think that you're seeking attention, people might think that you've lost your mind, you're going crazy, because in society, especially in African culture, women at a certain age, she's supposed to be married, supposed to have children at a certain age, and there's this rules, yeah, and regulations that the society throws at your face that you have to usually like live up to, like conform to. So, what makes an alpha woman different in all of this is that she claims her strength and she appreciates their strength. She's physically strong, mentally strong, and emotionally strong. And above all, we are always minding our businesses. Okay? So, the problem is not between an alpha woman and the beta women, it's exclusively the beta woman against an alpha woman. And of course, it could be detrimental, not for an alpha woman, because our strength takes us, however long that we want to travel, we would still travel it and would still get what we want. But the problem on the beta side is that they forget sometimes that it's their daughters, that are going to be affected by the same problem. When they go against an alpha woman, it means that these are the type of women, first place, who compete with their daughters, who want to look down on their daughters, who want to minimize their daughters. These are not the good mothers to their daughters. And usually, like the beta women, for a beta woman to compete with an alpha woman, they're usually frustrated and insecure about their age, about the decisions that they make in their marriage. And they're the ones who want to do something and end up doing something else. What they do and what they want to do is not the same. But at the end of the day, there are beta women who settle for their betaness and who just owns their betaness. They're soft and they're just princesses. They just sit around and just do their nails and looking pretty and seducing women, seducing men, and asking men to buy them things, and they just own it. I'm usually like perfectly well with this kind of beta women. They know that they recognize my alphaness and they try to learn from it. And I learn from them as well. Sometimes an alpha woman could be very goal driven, like mission oriented. And then, they teach you about how to just stay in your body, think about your family, smooth things out, right? These are the kind of women that are motherly and nurturing, right? The kind of women that are like empowering to society in some way. I mean, like, I'm not like saying they have to tolerate abuse or manipulation, they have to be open for manipulation, but there are some diva kind of like beta women who carry themselves in a certain way, who loves dressing well, and when they eat they're really slow, and how they pick their fruits, you know, like these kind of beta women, they embrace who they are. So it doesn't matter how they see you, or like you might be an adventurous alpha women and they want to have a drink with you, they still like acknowledge you, and they still like want to be on a supporting position, you know, they support your goals because they know that it's not for them, they just claim themselves that they are. The problem is the women that are born as an alpha and chose the journey of a beta. Somewhere along the line, you know, they settled for less. They ended up like they got married to a man that they scare, that they oppress, they manipulate, or they're married to a man who has a potential, like a kind of status or money, and yet who do not take time to understand them, to nurture their femininity, to actually appreciate their essence. Okay, or these are like, you know what I mean, like the women who are born to be alpha, but then like they ended up being betas, like for one reason or the other. Like I can't say for them, this is not the life that I lived. And or the women that are born as beta, but who are so fascinated by alphas that they all they try to do is, you know, being an alpha. So you see how the contradiction, I mean, it's what I'm saying to you now, it's like for an average mind it might be like sound complicated, but it's like it's something that's real. It's real. We experience it on a daily basis, like women, you know, like it's like even in jokes sometimes I see like men joking about like women competing against each other, like being envious and jealousy, they're jealous towards each other. So in my life, it's most of the time it's people who are older than me, like who actually get jealous of how at a young age I have educated myself enough, and I have a set of goals, and I have a direction, a sense of direction in life, and I am building things that I'm going to later enjoy. So these women who didn't take their time to actually like to go through what I went through, and who are not necessarily into building, who are not really willing to do the work, to process their traumas, to heal themselves, who are not willing to love unconditionally and to go all the way in that love and wait for their prince charming or their king to come and to claim them. You know, like it's not even about waiting, but like it's when you are a builder, when you are a person with a structure, you know that nothing comes easy, and you are willing to pay the price for it. You are willing to walk the journey, you know. But like not every woman have that strength, and I know there are so many, like even in my daily experience, many African women who are very strong, who are here to shift paradigms, who are here to teach the society what a woman is capable of doing, you know, because somewhere along the line, the masculine energy, the male energy had been very pedestalized and honored and um, biased to, you know, the society somehow empowered the masculine somewhere along the line in history. It's not like that all the time. It's not how it started. That it's not how some of our ancestors had lived, you know, in their lives. There were time in history where the women were the rulers of the country, and where women were like had big big powers, you know, big powers in community, society. And there were warriors and queens, there were women who actually fought wars even. But with this westernization thing and the coming of the feminine, who just claim to be equal with men, not knowing the biological differences, the spiritual differences, what divine feminine is capable of, what divine masculine is supposed to do, you know, like somewhere along the line things got so distorted. So we got to a point where there is a stigma against strong women. Now, the society, not only the society, but like when we see the specifics, the details of it, it's like both men and women that actually try to shame strong women for being strong. It's mostly strong women that are called crazy, like they don't know what they want. They just go from one place to the next and they're always reading for no end. These are strong women, like strong women are called like no man is interested in them. They wouldn't find a man who would be with them, who would live with them because they are so hard to deal with. We're called aggressive, but we are just reasonable. It's like aggression is not in our world because we don't have anything that we don't know. When you're an alpha woman, it's like you have a territory. It's like you have a kingdom, and you know what that kingdom wants, you know what that kingdom is, you know your inner kingdom, you know your outer kingdom. That's why I emphasize on the word builder. We are not about shortcuts. We don't use our beauty or our charm or our status or our knowledge to manipulate men in order to be financially supported or in order to be emotionally soothed. An alpha woman knows how to provide for herself. And an alpha woman, the kind of relationship that they have with men and with their friends is a mutual understanding and love. It's like it's based on what both what this what the both of them can offer for each other, what the man can bring into the table and what the woman can bring to the table. It's not based on dependency, all right? So anyways, I see women trying to compete with each other all the time, and it's natural to them. It's natural to them, it's just because we have the same gender doesn't mean we have to compete with each other. But it's based on similarity, right? For two things to compare, there has to be something that's similar that makes them similar, like call it age or gender or even race. When I planned to come to Kigali, there were some Habesha women who does um I wouldn't call it the same. I wouldn't even call it similar, but like related things. Like I'm a healer, I'm a healing facilitator, but they do something similar, like traditional kind of treating others. So I was talking to them, and they were even the ones who told me about like the place and how nice it is. So it was an inspiration in the beginning, and then as we were chatting on WhatsApp, they asked me, "What do you do though?" Like, and I told them what I do. I do Reiki. I do all of the Ethiopian style healing techniques and this and that and that and that, right? Since then, they were triggered and they don't want to talk to me because they're Ethiopians living in Kigali doing something that's related, not even the same, related to what I do. They thought that I would make them insignificant. They got like triggered by what I was intending to do. I didn't even start the path yet. But they were triggered because they thought that I would make them insignificant. I would be their competition. And then, like once I met them in person, I figured out. I just saw them in between the lines and I knew their intentions and they wouldn't I didn't expect them to support me and they didn't support me in any way. That they didn't guide me, they didn't call even like to check on me. They used to talk to me at least like once in 2 weeks when I was in Addis and after I got to Kigali, and there was just one that encounter. My intuition was saying no, no, no to these people. They are not like, they are triggered because these are the kind of people who were born to be alphas and ended up being betas for some reason, and now they are not happy with their marriage. They've settled for so much less. They are with someone who doesn't meet their potential. They're with someone who's not probably taking care of the children the way they want to be. They want them to be taken care of, um, or they're doing things that are on the age in their lives. It doesn't matter how much money they make. At the end of the day, they're not expressing themselves in a wild way. They're not authentic enough, and these are the people who think that it's too late for them to live their dreams. I mean, I'm sure in my 40s and in my 50s, I would live like a 15-year-old young women, you know. It's all about the heart, it's all about the energy. It's like I don't even agree with the current calendar. I don't believe in European calendar. Okay, maybe Ethiopian calendar, I appreciate it for its uniqueness, but still I'm not convinced by it. uh as for like the calculation of time, the Mayan calendar is the best one for me, and I want to study it even more. I know things about it, but I want to study it even more. So according to the Mayan calendar, I might be still like a little, I might be 20, you know, or like 40, but it's still like perception, you know. Time doesn't really exist, and I'm not limited by my age for anything that I want to do. I'm not limited by my family life even. And some of the women who were born to be alphas and then ended up being betas, or like who are betas trying to be alphas, the problem is they would have children and they see their children as limitation, you know. They feel like having children is problematic. That's why they are not like taking that trip. That's why they're not working on their projects. They feel like their children are their limitation because they are not strong enough in their bodies. You know, they don't work out, they don't do yoga, they don't drink enough water. So when they pick up their children and they carry them around, they feel tired. So they end up loading themselves and their children. I mean, you can wait until you are ready. I'm about to be 31 next month. I'm gonna turn 31, and I feel like I could still wait. I mean, I'm open and I'm ready. I know who my husband is, and I know the person that I'm going to end up with, and I'm not in a rush. You know what I mean? Like I'm not in a rush in any way. There are lessons that needs to be learned. There's something that I need to master in my body, in my spirit. I'm ready whenever it happens. I make sure that I'm ready for it. I'm ready now. I will be ready like whenever. But like I'm not rushing anything at this point because like I'm not threatened by my own life. You know, I'm a risk taker. I'm an alpha. I'm strong. And if you try to shame me for being strong, for waking up in the morning and do yoga workout, and for actually challenging your opinions of women, you know, in the guest house that I used to live in, and these are the same people who try to actually create problems in my twin flame connection are the same people who cheats on their wives and on every Saturday. You know, like every Saturday they would drink and they cheat on their wives, and they treat their wives actually as if they're like commodities, properties. So that's the kind of concept, like their concept of women is that. So whenever they see me, you know, like whenever there's a topic that they want to discuss about, and I take part in that discussion, and I tell them the things that I know, and they just see how knowledgeable I am. That contradicts to their common belief that women is just a woman has a place, you know, like women do not know much. Women are not strong enough in their heads, you know. They are used to manipulating women, like they're used to taking a woman out to dinner and like buying a meal for a woman, and that means that they have to, the next step is taking her to bed. If you are a real gentleman, you would know that just treating women in a nice way is a natural act. Nothing has to follow that act, you know. Like I wouldn't be surprised if a man comes to me and appreciates my beauty or my essence, my femininity, because he loves his mother maybe, or his sisters, or maybe he's a sort of feminist for whatever, or he works in a women organization for whatever reason. If a man comes to me and just offers me something, I'm receptive, you know. Like I would take it, I would say thank you, man. But I don't feel the need to do anything about it, you know. Like I claim it, I claim that kind of support from every corner, and whenever I have it, I have it. But if that man does something to me in expectation that we will end up doing something, I'm not going to be manipulated. I'm not that easy. It doesn't matter if it's a house. First of all, if a man, like when a man invests, tries to invest in me in any way, like whether they are a friend or like a man who's interested in me in general, when they want to offer something to me, I know that there is a limitation. Okay, there is no way that I would let a man buy me a car and then still like want to be friends. I mean, use your head, my people. Like it's like this. There's so much stupidity going on now, like in the women's world. There's so much insecurity. There's a need to prove something, but all you have to do is to just be comfortable in your skin and just breathe, 3 times every morning and ask yourself what it is that I want to do, and forgive yourself for the mistakes that you think that you have made. Okay, we all do those mistakes. I'm not sure whether like I might look back and just, I'm actually sure. I'm sure that I will be very satisfied with what I'm doing now, like even after 10 years, 20 years, because I'm in the flow, like it's just, I can't transcend the state that I am in as an alpha woman, like I hated, at some point, I have to admit to you, I hated my strength, because I thought the world is treating me this way because I'm strong. So it's my strength that's calling all of these mistreatment. It's my strength that's calling all of these people who want to be my enemies for no reason. And yet it's not just my strength with like there to actually protect me. It's just, it's my quality. It's like, it's not, my strength was not something that called these negative experiences, but my strength was like my way of coping with these experiences, because they were going to be there anyway, whether I was strong or weak. It's part of the human. I don't think it's just targeted at a personal level towards me. I'm just representing all of my alpha women here. You know what I mean? I've got a cousin, like a relative. She's not my cousin, and she has a petroleum company, and she's like extremely rich, like billionaire level rich. Okay, so I'm not saying she's perfect and she's like nice. It's not even about her character. It's just exclusively about what she does and how successful she is at it. Okay, but like in the family, whenever, even in my own family, or whenever there is a gathering, like relatives coming together to celebrate something, I would hear this hating, like bad mouthing about her, like a constant hating. Like some say like she doesn't know how to talk, she's like, she's not nice, she doesn't support enough people, she loves money, she sleeps around whether they see it or not, she sleeps around to convince me to work with her or to buy her a share. All of these are just not true. All of these are just inferiority complex. Okay, how these beta women have an agenda against alpha women is just because of their insecurities and their inferiority complex and their envious nature and their jealousy. And the reason why they're jealous is because they see something in you that they're convinced that they can't become. And maybe they are right. Maybe they are right for thinking that they can't be you, but that doesn't mean that they can't accept themselves. All right, so it's usually the woman that gives me problems in my journey, honestly. Like, it's not even I'm asking anything. All right, like you being beta women. So like you have a husband, so like maybe the society thinks that you are respected, you deserve to be respected. All right, like, but like me being single doesn't mean like I have to be disrespected, or doesn't mean that I'm not protected, for that matter. I see that psychological way of understanding that if a woman when a woman gets married in Africa, she's respected more, because now that means that she has got that masculine figure that protects her and provides for her. So social life is based on dependency, right? So if you're married, and if I'm married, and like if our husband gives us enough money or like protects us in a certain way, let's be close to each other so I can attach myself to you and you can depend on me. And that gives us sense of security. So let's just hang out, let's be friends, even though we don't have anything in common whatsoever, or you don't challenge me to grow whatsoever. That's not my cup of tea. Okay, I don't judge people, but think I don't think like just being in a circle where you're not being challenged to grow, to see like yourself in a different light, like to learn from each other. If I'm not in that kind of evolutionary circle, I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in gossiping. These are the same women who sit down and gossip about the women who are minding their businesses. Okay, so I don't think it's necessary to have a husband to feel protected. In fact, since I came to Rwanda, like I have mates, brothers, like who make me feel safer than I've been. I know that when you are strong, when you are like trying to do, when you are making a difference in the world, and when you are like this public figure, or like when you're a certain type of person who are destined for greatness somewhere in your future or in the present, I know that there will be eyes on you. So if you have a man next to you, especially as a woman, we're vulnerable somehow. There is a kind of vulnerability that I can't deny. So if there's a man next to you, that's nice. If a man that you choose, that you know will meet your potential, not a man that you settle for less with because you think you were afraid and you think that the angels weren't there for you and you're not protected. I am divinely protected, energetically protected. If someone is coming to kill me, I would be like notified before 2 days because I have to move, right? Like, okay, just some danger is coming to you, so do something about it. That's my intuition. I would know when you were planning to do something. I would know like beforehand, before you even take action. All right, so that's like my energetic protection. I believe it. I believe Saint George is my protector. Like my protector at night, my protector in the daytime. Saint George, we've gone a long journey with him. Like, actually, it's like from the 60th century in Ethiopia. Since I've been a queen to this point, he's always with me. And actually, my soul group in Ethiopia also. Saint George serves them and they love him. So anyway, that energetic support is just, is always there, right? Like it's like undeniably there. But at the same time, as for the physical protection, I do not necessarily need to have a husband or a boyfriend because I have brothers that I can call to if there's and if anything happens. I have like people that I trust that I can call to, that I can tell this kind of thing is happening. I'm vulnerable in this situation. Can you come and help me, or like get me out of this situation, right? What it takes is just a little bit of humbleness and the knowledge of self. There are things that a woman cannot do, and I'm not a feminist in any way, especially in a way that this feminism is being carried out in the world. I'm not that, but I believe in empowering women. I believe that when women empower each other, when they come together to work on a project, they can do tenfold, like they can perform way, way, way more and bigger than men coming together can do, because of the validation that woman feminine energy is given in existence. The feminine energy is like, a person that's nurtured by divine feminine, a person that's empowered by a divine feminine is just they can be rulers of this world, because like it's all about the divine feminine, especially for this age, because now we are in a masculine driven world where like all about action or materialism. So we could use a lot, we could benefit a lot from that passive, loving, nurturing energy of the divine feminine. So that's what the world needs in general. But like, the women are not knowing that potential that they have, they're not knowing that privilege that they have. So whenever a woman shows up with that kind of attitude of knowing that she's a divine feminine, she's a queen, she's an alpha, and she's got like a role to play in this world, she has a sense of direction. And most of the betas, especially if they were born an alpha, because you trigger them with your light and with your confidence, they try to just talk you down, they try to look down on you, they try to belittle you, and most importantly, smear campaign about you. Like they try to gossip about you, about the things that never happened, or they just like they're being instrument of the devil, actually, in this case, spiritually speaking. I don't know how else to put this, because how can you just, okay, maybe that's just in their reality, it's justifiable. Maybe I'm seeing it in my reality and how it doesn't make sense. I know everything is serving a purpose one way or another. So these people, when they are jealous and when they are trying to sabotage my work or my relationship, at the end of the day, they're helping me. They are like working for me, I would say, because sometimes spirit takes me places to teach people, uses me to teach people about themselves. So maybe I might go someplace for work, but my intention was to just work with these people, right? Like to start a business, for example, to offer them something that I have. But maybe the reason why I'm there is because I have to teach those people about who they are, to just serve as a mirror. And that's my everyday work, that's my everyday responsibility. But when it comes to my sisters, if you are a 40-year-old woman competing with a 30-year-old women like me, women who are yet planning their lives, and women who are making better choices than you do, just think about your daughter. When you are triggered by those women that you think they have it better, that you think are young enough to make better choices that you couldn't have made, think about your daughter. Because by pushing away this type of women out of your life, you are depriving your daughter of the opportunity to be inspired by these women. And at the end of the day, you want better for your daughter, right? Don't you? Or is it just you compete with your daughter and you're jealous of how better looking they are, or like how much knowledge they have? And if you are competing with your daughter, it's definitely like you are toxic, you are poison to the society. It's as simple as that. So guys, especially women, my sisters, I mean, I can't be as dramatic or as articulately toxic as some women are, but to just end this video with one point, something that I want to say is own yourself. Know who you are and just start from there. Forgive yourself. It's the resentment, it's the insecurity, it's the regret that's like messing with your head and just coming out. Like what's inside is going on outside. There is no difference. It's your internal frustration that's manifesting the desire to actually like show it in action, in to interfere in other people's lives and for no reason. And it's like, know that nobody wants what's yours. We all have our own share in this planet. We all came with our own assets. Okay, whether it's a woman or like a man or whatever, every creature have their own assets that they can explore in any given point, as long as they believe in themselves and they work around their whatever limitation they have. So this is what I wanted to say, guys. Now I want to hear from you. Please notify me in the comment section if you had a competitive mother, competitive aunt, or competitive friends, and what kind of problems like you had encountered because of that turned out to be good and well, that turned out to serve you in the end. And yeah, you can tell me anything regarding what I discussed about in this video, whether you are a beta woman having an agenda against me, or you were born as an alpha woman and ended up as a beta woman competing against me, or what, against each other, against an alpha woman. When I say me, I'm representing all of the alpha women, the lionesses. Okay, so I would still love you, but I have a boundary. Just being spiritual doesn't mean you are all about love and light and you are always focusing on the good. You know, also when the bad is here and when there's negative energy, you would know and you would do something about it. You defend yourself, you stand for yourself. And that's my approach to troubles like this, to a drama like this. So I want to hear from you and I love you. Have a great day. Rastafari, Selassie, I and I.